What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the Duenkel Productions Podcast. This is episode 32, and tonight we are joined by two very special guests, Zach Bruzawa, up there, basketball player at Rockford University. Man's pretty big time. And then, joining us, we got first episode guest, Owenn Schmidtman. I think is how you say his last name correctly.
There we go.
I said it correctly. I said it
got
correctly. Let's go. But this is episode 32.
Yep.
And this podcast is presented by Wisconsin Sports Heroics. Huge shout out to them. You guys might be asking, what is Wisconsin Sports Heroics? Well, they are a wonderful company that writes all about Wisconsin sports, other sports, outdoor sports, fantasy sports. Pretty much they're talking about sports like we do on this podcast. Make sure you guys go check them out down below. I'll have their website link. I'll have their Facebook, their Twitter, their Instagram. Make sure you guys go follow them on all those. Make sure to check out their website. Check out all their great articles. But Owenn and Zach, how are you guys doing? Owenn, I'll start with you, buddy.
Didn't expect to be on tonight. Just covering Adam for a little bit. You've been asking me to get back on it for a while. I've been a little busy, but I've been a little slacking a little bit on getting back on here. But, it's going to be good to talk a little bit about some sports here for a little bit.
That's awesome, Owenn. And, hey, shout out to me for actually saying your name right for once. I've struggled for years.
There you go, man. Step in the right direction.
But Zach, how are you doing, buddy? How's Rockford out there in Illinois, man?
Yeah, man, I'm doing all right. Actually, we're in the midst of our first little spring break, so we don't have class tomorrow or Friday. Today, really just grinded out homework for 6 hours. Had a little practice, but I'm doing well, man. Excited to be back on. It seems like it's been a little while.
It's been a little bit. It's been a little bit for both of you guys, but I'm excited to have you both back on. I love y'all both. And huge shout out to all the support last night in our IG live. It was crazy up in there. Huge shout out to everyone that stopped by. Huge shout out to everyone that subscribed. Owenn, you're just hopping on here, but we did hit 90 subscribers just 20 minutes ago. So we have been
awesome.
Fire with the subscriber numbers lately. But Owenn, I want to start with you on this topic because you texted me right away about it, and I didn't know what was going on. But Owenn, why don't you tell us a little bit about these all-star game, all-star snubs, man? Let us know.
All right. So you want me to start with the East or the West? It's up to you.
Let's start with the East because I feel like that's when you're going to bring the truth, bring the heat, all the above.
All right. So, obviously I'm a Milwaukee Bucks guy, so I'm going to be a little biased here. Obviously, it sucked seeing Chris Middleton left off because obviously the past 2 years you've seen he's been an all-star. And I mean, in the last 2 years, especially 2 years ago, it was kind of a one where I didn't know if he necessarily deserved it. Last year for sure deserved it. But this year I was like, all right, he's a lock. The man's averaging 21, 6, and 6 on 50, 40, 90 shooting splits. That's there's only been 3 years. There's only been a few guys in the league that ever done that. And I was like, I know he was really close last year. I'm like, he's a lock. And then obviously I know they took a rough stretch, about last 2 weeks, 1-5 before they just got on a 2-game win streak. So I was like, okay, maybe that plays a role. But then obviously when they came out with the All-Star, I mean, they obviously got your starters, good with all that. I was good with James Harden, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, and, Ben Simmons, he played well down the stretch too before the last few weeks. So I'll give him that. And then, the three, though, to me is I had trouble with Vucevic, LaVine, and Randall. Then I looking at, I'm fine with giving Randall a 2 because he's played awesome this year. So he deserved it. And to me, I know LaVine, he's been scoring really well with really good shooting splits too. But the thing is, I mean, what is it though? Is it you can be on a worse team averaging more points, or you be on a better team averaging less points but more efficient? And the thing is too, you go down to the advanced stats and you look at Zach LaVine. When he's on the floor, the Bulls are minus 0.0 or minus 0.4, plus minus. When he's off the floor, they're plus 4.3. So when Zach LaVine isn't on the court, the Chicago Bulls are significantly better. And I mean, I get that he scores a lot. So that one, yeah, it's to me, I was a little going back and forth about it. But the other one too was Vucevic. I know he's really good. Vucevic he's obviously very good. He was all-star last year. But I thought that especially too, another guy who got snubbed was Domantas Sabonis. I think Sabonis should have been over Vucevic, and I thought Chris Middleton could have been in over either Levine, or he could have been over Vucevic, or even like Simmons too. I mean, it's tough. So I mean, like I said, I think that he deserved it, and I know obviously he cares, but then again, at the end of the day, all that matters now is that the Bucks obviously do something in the playoffs. But I thought for sure the two snubs in the East were Sabonis and Middleton, and then you're gonna argue Bam too. But then again, like it's just the Heat have been so inconsistent. They had a losing record that I get it too, and then obviously, I mean, it just depends. And then when you go to the West, well, actually, I'll ask Zach what he thought about the East, if he had anything different than me.
Yeah, no. So you're honestly right on the money. I thought the biggest snub out of anybody was Chris Middleton, and and you know me, I'm not really a Bucks guy, but Chris Middleton, he's efficient. I mean, when he gets his shots up, they're going in. I mean, they're going in. I mean, of course, when you have Giannis there, he's the superstar. He's going to get his shots. Chris Middleton plays well into their system, and he shoots the ball very well. And I mean, I'm looking at these standings. You have the Sixers are first. They have Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons, obviously. The Nets have 3 All-Stars, it's well deserving because they're all very good players. So you have Durant, Irving, and James Harden, and then you have the Bucks are the 3 seed. The Bucks only have 1 All-Star, and then I'm looking down this list, and the Celtics, I mean, they're reeling right now. They're playing terrible basketball. They just got blown off the floor by the Atlanta Hawks. I think they're sitting at like the 10th or 11th seed. They have 2 All-Stars in Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. So how they're picking All-Stars, I kind of question that. I mean, if your team is that bad, you should not, in my opinion, you shouldn't have 2 All-Stars. I mean, even though they're both deserving, but you kind of have to look at that too. Obviously, when the selections came out, the Celtics weren't reeling like how they are now. But then, I mean, just looking at kind of like stuff like that, and like you said with Zach LaVine's kind of my iffy one. I mean, even though he's averaging 28, it's not efficient to me because he's getting a lot of shots up because they're not really that great. And then obviously, I think Julius Randle is deserving. I think that is a nice little thing for the New York Knicks because we haven't seen anyone from New York since Carmelo Anthony, obviously. And New York is it's the mecca of basketball. So it's always nice when you have a New York Knick in the All-Star game. Like you said too, Nikola Vucevic. I mean, he averages a double-double, but it's like it seems to me it's like empty. It's empty calories. So the Magic, I want to say they're sitting like 12th or 13th in the East. And I mean, you can make the same argument for Bradley Beal, but just not as extreme because obviously Bradley Beal's averaging 33 or 34. So obviously he's going to be an All-Star. He's just doing it. He's doing whatever it takes to win. But I think Vucevic and LaVine are the 2 that are kind of iffy for me. Chris Middleton should definitely be in over one of them. And then, like you said, with Sabonis is more efficient, I think, than LaVine, even though LaVine averages a couple more points. But I mean, Sabonis still averages a double-double with rebounds and points. So yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat with you.
Sabonis, yeah. No, to me too. He's the only. I think he. I want to say it's him, Giannis, and Jokic. I want to say those are the only 3 guys averaging 20, 10, and 5. Like they're either averaging more than that or more than that. So obviously, I'm just like he put himself in there with good company too. And yeah, exactly. Like you were saying, looking back on it though, you always like that's the thing too. Is when you're saying when someone's getting snubbed, you gotta like say who you would replace them with, because otherwise you can just say 10, 15 guys got snubbed. So those, to me, like I said, Sabonis and Chris Middleton, I think should have been in. And like I said, I think Vucevic should have for sure been out. But then the other guy, I think, like I said, LaVine, maybe you can definitely make a case for maybe 1 or 2 guys. But then, I mean, like I said, so it just really depends.
Yeah. Also, another note is the Pacers are the 4th seed right now in the East. Just kind of going to throw that out there. And we have 3 All-Star. Actually, now the Celtics are out, and then Bradley Beal. So we have 3 All-Stars that are currently not in the playoff race in the East. And I mean, only 4 seeds. Only 4 seeds in the East are above 500. So I mean, that should tell you something. But
it just depends too. It just depends how they grade them as how they're selecting the All-Stars. Whether or not, what's up, Adam? Whether or not it's they're doing it off of just purely stats, or if it's like I said, efficiency and kind of an overall player. Because then again, too, like I said, I'm going to make an argument for Chris Middleton, but Chris Middleton is an above-average defender where the other guys in there, Vucevic and Levine, are some of the
Horrible
bottom tier
defenders.
defenders in the NBA. So I mean, obviously, if Dunk's got something to say, otherwise I'll move into the West, man.
Dude, Owen, come on, man. You know I always got something to say, but real quick, I want to introduce our guest popping in here just now, Adam Simmons, one of the pool guys with Zach Brazawa, roommates of Owen Schmidtman. I finally said his name correctly twice on the podcast today. Adam, how we doing?
I'm good, man. You guys are gonna have to forgive me. Exam went a little longer than I anticipated, but I'm here now.
How did we do? Good?
Good. Yeah, not too bad.
Not too bad. All about the studies. All about the studies here.
All right.
Sir.
Owen, Zach, I totally agree with your thoughts. Middleton definitely should have been an all-star. Owen, I'll give that up to you, man. Middleton's been great this year. I think he's been the best player in the Bucks, to tell you the truth. Giannis has definitely struggled this season, not been the player that we thought he was. I think Middleton's really stepped up this season. I think, he's definitely put himself in that top 15 player in the league. I think Giannis is a better player in the league, but I'm just saying, if you're going based off this season, I think Money Middleton is having a great season and definitely deserved to be an all-star without a doubt.
So one thing I'll say, I just want to, before you get to your last point, is that at the beginning of the year, I'd probably say about the first 13, 14 games, I for sure agree that Chris Middleton was the most reliable Buck, and like he was playing the best. But I mean, so obviously the Bucks went through that stretch with Drew Holiday out. They went 1-5.
Yeah.
But the thing is with Giannis is because obviously it plays a factor in voter fatigue too. But Giannis, I want to say, I don't want to be exactly wrong. I want to say the last maybe 9 games, he's averaging almost a triple double.
Yeah.
And he's playing out of his mind, which I'm saying, like if he's probably now in the top 6 people in the MVP race right now. I'm saying he's been playing tremendous, which Middleton fell off, which I think is maybe why he fell off those 5-6 games, which I think maybe is what hurt his case. Because obviously voters, they like the recency bias, kind of what happened. But other than that, I do agree. Throughout the beginning of the season, Middleton was definitely the Bucks' most reliable, consistent player, even if he wasn't scoring the most.
And that's what I was saying, Owen. I think that definitely, I'd take your guys' word for it on the Bucks. I'm not a Bucks fan. Lake Show all day, LeBron. Yeah. I follow him wherever he goes. Y'all know that. All 3 of y'all guys know that on this podcast. Owen says that I'm the most crazy LeBron fan there is. Sometimes I'll make statements that are way out there, but how you doing? Keep it moving. But yeah, man, Middleton, Sabonis definitely deserve to be there. I do like that they put Randall in there, though. I do like that. Randall's been a great.
I think he deserves. Everyone who made it deserves it.
Yeah, Randall's had a great season.
It just depends who. Yeah, like I said, everyone who made it deserves it. It's just that obviously everyone's going to say someone got snubbed, which I think Chris Middleton was very deserving too, which obviously he was.
Right.
But it just comes down to what voters actually vote on. If they vote for some people, it seems like they vote off of stats and then they vote off of impact. So sometimes it's just, I think they're too inconsistent with it.
So Adam, do you have anything to say about the East All-Star snubs?
Yeah, no, not really, man. I do have something to say. Wait, did you not go to the West yet?
I'm about to hit that off in a minute.
You can lead us into that. Let's hear it, Adam. Let's hear it.
Sounds like you guys covered pretty much everything on the East.
All right, let's hear the West.
I don't want to hear nobody talking bad about my boy Zach LaVine, because he's been going buckets. I don't care if you don't play defense. It's an offensive league now. We play defense in the playoffs, and the Bulls are going to be in the playoffs this year.
Bulls are the 7th seed out in the East.
I'm
saying a lot because they're a couple games under 500.
Adam, bro, let's hear the West. Let's hear what you got to say.
Oh, there's just this one guy in the West that I do not think is deserving of a all-star captain position at all, because he is a bum and he cannot produce without Anthony Davis.
Bro, Adam, listen to me. I know who you're talking about. You're talking about 17-time All-Star, 4-time NBA champion, 4-time NBA Finals MVP, I think 4-time MVP should have probably been 6 or 7 by now, but we'll talk about that for another day. Owen, I know we don't need to talk about it. We've talked about this enough in an Xbox Live party. Shout out Cooper Brinkman.
I'll just tell you this: they're lucky they voted on the or they gave the captains up before AD got hurt.
Well, bro,
Because you're talking about all these numbers, but he's a 5-time loser in his last 6 games. And that's just not going to cut it.
yeah, okay, but they're missing AD and they're missing
Exactly
Schroeder.
my point. Exactly my point.
Hey, but you also got to understand though, the Owens Bucks went through that same stretch without Drew Holiday, man. They went through that same stretch.
That people punish Giannis for the MVP, which I'm saying is they should keep the same mentality for LeBron here.
Yeah, but it's a little different because LeBron's proven over the years that when it comes to push up or shut up. Owen, when it's push up or shut up time, LeBron usually puts up. You know what I mean? That's
all right. Yeah, we'll save that for a different day. Okay. But no, I want to just kind of touch on the West real quick before I head out. But so to me, I actually thought the West was pretty good. I think Anthony Davis, he deserves it off of stats and kind of merit. Obviously, he's an all-star. Paul George for sure deserved it.
Yeah.
Rudy Gobert deserves it. Yeah. Lillard, I thought should have been a starter over Doncic.
Facts.
That's just me. Mitchell deserves it. I like the Chris Paul one. And I know people – here's the thing. I like the Chris Paul – I'll get to that in a second. I like the Chris Paul one, and I love the Zion one. I think Zion deserves it. Zion's averaging 26, 7, and 5 or whatever it is. Definitely deserves on like 70% free throw. So I get – but here's the thing is like I thought if you go down to it too, here's the thing. With the whole Devin Booker situation, obviously he's replacing AD now, which I think he deserves it too.
Right.
But here's the thing is that when you go down to it, the Phoenix Suns' best player is Chris Paul. It's not Devin Booker. Chris Paul is the Phoenix Suns' best player. And here's the thing is Chris Paul averages 23 a game, or Devin Booker averages 23 a game. Like he's a good shooter. Doesn't shoot the 3 at a high clip though. That's the thing about him. He's a scorer, but doesn't shoot the 3 at a high clip. But Chris Paul, he averages, I think, 16 or 17, but he's a better defender and he's more impactful on the game. So this is what I didn't get too, is that you vote Chris Paul in because he's the most valuable player on the team and he's their best player. Mm-hmm. But then you vote other guys in because they have good stats, which technically it's just like, shouldn't you have put Devin Booker in then because he has better stats than Chris Paul? So I just think it's different. It's odd. I think Devin Booker deserved it too. But I do like the Chris Paul one over Devin Booker. I know some other people were like, no. But other than that, I thought, and the only other guy I might have said that was a snub, maybe, was Mike Conley from the West. But it's like, it's so tough to get 3 guys from one team, even if you're the best team. If that guy isn't like, Conley's just like he's kind of like a great value Chris Paul in a sense.
Yeah, he's kind of what it is. Guy.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's a good player, and there's no doubt about it. But it's like it's one of those things where Mike Conley at least deserved one All-Star appearance in his career, and he's not going to get one probably now.
Thanks.
So I think it would have kind of been like an honor to him too. So those are the only 2, but I thought the West was picked pretty well.
I thought that as well. Simmons, you have any thoughts besides the fact that LeBron shouldn't have been a captain, which I think we all agree he should have probably?
I'll say this though. Wait. The only thing is LeBron. Yeah, I'll say he deserves the captain. Yeah. But I think you can also argue that Jokic is just as deserving for the captain because I think Jokic has had a better season. I think Jokic has had a better season. No, for sure this season. I think it's close, but then again, it comes down to the fan voting. But they're both deserving. I don't really care that LeBron got it, even though I'm not a LeBron guy.
Facts. Adam?
Yeah, no. Other than that, I think it's pretty fair across the board.
So you think Jokic should have gotten it over LeBron then? That's who you would have subbed?
I'll be honest with you. I got a little bias against LeBron. I just think a lot of the stuff he does is calculated. So you got to take that into consideration with the things that I say. But I'd say Jokic has had a better year so far. But they're not gonna, like, if it's close, the fans are gonna vote LeBron in, and they're gonna give it to LeBron. Like the people want to see LeBron as a captain.
Yeah, he's the face of the league. So I mean, as even if people don't agree that he's still the top, like the number 1 player in the league, he's still the face. He's still when people think the National Basketball Association, he's still the guy. He's still the face of the franchise.
Mm-hmm.
You think about Go James, Brazil. You can say it on here.
Yeah,
All
that's
right,
true.
Dunk. Before I head out,
Go.
Dunk, is all I gotta say is,
All right.
if I had to give you right now, I'm gonna give you two things right here.
Oh boy.
I'm gonna give you my NBA Finals. I'm gonna give you my NBA Finals prediction. I'm not gonna tell you who I think wins it, but I'm gonna tell you my NBA Finals prediction as of today is the Brooklyn Nets and the Los Angeles Clippers. That's my NBA Finals prediction.
The Clippers are phony. They're so.
Bro.
The Utah Jazz are going to be. If it's not the Lakers, it's the Utah Jazz. I'm saying it right here.
Hey, I think the Jazz are a lot like. I think they're a lot like the Bucks from 2 years or from. I'm not gonna say 2 years ago because the Bucks really could have won that if one call goes a different way in Game 3. But I'll say they were kind of like the Bucks last year, where they were top 5 in defense, top 5 in offense. But it's just like, I just don't think they had enough to get over the hump last year either. Where it's Drew Holiday this year, I think they can. But
they're really similar too. Sorry, go ahead.
So that's my prediction, though. No, that's my prediction. Clippers versus Nets. Otherwise, I would, if I had to give a second prediction, it's going to be Lakers versus probably Nets too.
Hey,
what's up, Dunk?
Owen, when your first predictions are on, you're gonna come back on the podcast. We're gonna talk about Lakers versus Bucks NBA Finals, or Lakers versus Sixers NBA Finals. I think Brooklyn and LA are going to show their true colors in the playoffs, and they're not going to.
I don't think Brooklyn gets, or I don't think the Sixers get there this year. I think it's Brooklyn, or maybe Bucks.
Hey, don't sleep on the Bucks, Owen. I think you're kind of sleeping on your team a little bit, man. They went through that rough stretch. They're missing Drew Holiday, who's their third best player.
I think they're going to be. I think they'll end it. I'm not joking. I think the Bucks will probably end the year. Just if it, I think they might end the year as the 1 seed. Like I think Sixers won't be able to sustain it. Okay. I mean, they're only like maybe 3 games out right now.
Yeah, I don't know.
And they're gonna get healthy. No, I think they're in the 1 or 2 seed. I that's what I think will happen. And I said it just depends. And I think Drew Holiday is a top 30, 35 player in the NBA, and I think he's gonna make a difference.
Facts.
So that, and then my last right now, if I had to give you an MVP list as of today. My MVP list, and I don't think it's hard. I don't think it's that wild here. I think it's right now, season ending day. I think you give Jokic the MVP. I think he's had the most impact and best stats on his team. And then second, I think you give it to Embiid. And then third, I give it to LeBron, only because of the stretch. Otherwise I would have LeBron second. But the Lakers have been on a bad stretch without AD. And that's going to, like they were talking about on this podcast I was listening to, is that this stretch is going to determine LeBron's MVP chances. If they continue to do this bad, LeBron will not win MVP this year if he shows that they do bad without AD.
You think if they turn around that he's going to end up winning it all? Do you think?
If they win, like just say, well, here's the thing is that most of the games AD has missed, he's already missed. He's only going to miss 3 more.
Right.
So say they win 3 or 4 more, they get back to 500 without him, and that's not very good. It went 5 and 6.
Well, they did go early in the season. They went like 4-1 without him though. So you got to factor that into it.
Yeah, I saw it. You're right. We're 5-5 without. But yeah, no, I get that. But it just depends. It really depends. Right. So that's all I got to say, Dunk.
Owen, I appreciate you for coming back on the podcast, filling in for Adam for a little bit, man.
It's always an honor to come and talk to my guys.
Hey, Owen, I appreciate you, man. You have a good night. Stay safe out there, man.
Yes, sir.
All right, boy. Man. Have a good one, man.
Yes,
sir. We'll catch you, man. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Be safe, man.
All right, Zach. So I think that what Owen said was really good about the West. I thought it was pretty status quo. I agreed with about everything. I did think Lillard deserved to be a starter over Doncic. And
I can agree with that.
And I think that Booker going in for AD was a good move. I think he was the one that was the most deserving to take that spot.
Yeah, everyone that's kind of freaking out about Devin Booker not being an all-star, I really don't see the problem with Chris Paul being selected over him because the Suns are not this with Chris. The Suns with Chris Paul are better than the Suns with just Devin Booker. So Chris Paul is obviously more valuable to that team, and he's the heart and soul of that team. So I had no problem with Devin Booker not being an all-star, quite frankly. And I know the Suns are sitting at the 4th seed right now, but before about this last 10-game stretch that the Suns have been on, they have not been that great. They've been 8-2 in the last 10 games. So before that, they were not a high seed to deserve 2 all-stars. So Devin Booker should not have been an all-star. That is correct. They got it right. But I'm glad he's in now because he is the next most deserving candidate.
Yeah, without question. Adam, welcome to the podcast, man. We appreciate you for coming on the show, bro.
Yeah, man. Of course, man.
Sorry, I got a little fired up there about LeBron. I get fired
like to
up,
push.
bro.
I like to push your buttons, Dunk.
Oh, you knew I was gonna get fired up after that
Of
comment.
course I did.
All love, brother. All love. Well, I
Yes, sir,
appreciate you,
yes, sir.
man. So Adam, how have things been going, man? How's it been, man?
Man, I can't complain. Just day by day. As we like to say at MVP Pools, another day, another dollar.
MVP pools, yes, sir.
Not
Focusing
trademarked
on
yet.
the studies. We do have to trademark that. Focus on the studies. Focus on getting in the gym, staying fit while we can. Staying safe, staying healthy. All that.
That's awesome, man. So Adam, let me ask you this, man. Russell Wilson, is this man gonna get traded?
He's not going to get traded.
No.
As much as I don't think so. As much as I'd love to see him in a Bears uniform, not going to happen.
No.
Drop your bear downs in the chat, man. No, but
no, do not drop bear down in the chat. I will lose my mind.
No, but I don't think we were talking about this earlier in the apartment. And as excited as I got when I first got the alert on my phone saying Russ Wilson might want to trade, Bears are listed on his list of potential suitors. I was excited for a minute, but then I came back down to reality when I realized just what a bad position the Bears are in right now. And I don't think he's going anywhere, to be honest with you. And I honestly don't think he should. I think the Seahawks would be a lot worse without him, no matter who they got in return.
Without question, Adam, I completely agree with you.
But yeah, any team that he would go to though would be leaps and bounds. But he's a great quarterback.
Yeah.
Like any of the teams listed on that list, what was it? It was
the Saints, the Cowboys, the Bears, and the Raiders. Those are the 4 teams.
Yeah, if any of those teams were lucky enough to get him, they would immediately take them one step closer to being contenders.
So
I personally don't think he's gonna go anywhere.
I agree, Adam. Zach, your thoughts on Russell Wilson? Do you think he gets traded or not?
Yeah, I think just kind of like what Adam said, of course, obviously, he kind of hit the head on the nail. But obviously, Russell Wilson is the face of the franchise there in Seattle. I mean, you can make the argument that without Russell Wilson, the Seahawks might be a lottery team for the first pick in the draft, because the things Russell Wilson can do for that franchise is ridiculous. I mean, it's not the Legion of Boom like it once was. That defense is very questionable. It has holes and gaps all over the place. I mean, last time we saw Seattle play, they gave up 30 points to a Rams team when Jared Goff had a broken thumb on his throwing hand. So that was an embarrassing showing. I think if you're Seattle, you do whatever you can to keep him, because it doesn't like Adam said as well. Russell Wilson is a top tier quarterback in the league. I mean, unless you can make a trade, honestly, and this is kind of far out there, and I know that Houston's not on Russell Wilson's desired trade places, but Deshaun Watson, if you could somehow land Deshaun Watson over Russell Wilson, I think that's the only way you win a trade regarding Russell Wilson. But I think Deshaun Watson's a better quarterback than Russell Wilson, obviously, but it's very far out. I don't think they're going to be able to get it done. So I think Russell Wilson stays.
I think those guys are pretty equal. But where do you guys see Deshaun Watson going?
I honestly don't know if he's going to go anywhere either.
Yeah, I think he might. He's gonna either he's not gonna play or he's gonna have to figure something out. I don't think they're gonna get rid of him.
Okay.
I think if anywhere, he'll probably end up. I honestly just have to say the Jets, because I think the Jets are the only team that has enough assets to give up for him. I mean, Deshaun Watson, it's going to take I mean, you saw what it took the Rams to get Matt Stafford. So Deshaun Watson is obviously way better. Is on another tier than Matt Stafford. So the Jets are honestly the only logical team that has enough to give up for him in picks and assets.
I think there's still a lot to happen in the quarterback carousel this offseason, but everything's still up in the air. Nobody really knows or has a good idea of who's going to move and where they're going to go, really. And if one quarterback moves, that changes the landscape for everyone else too.
Right.
Like, one quarterback leaves, say for instance, Russ left, Seattle would need a quarterback. Depending on what team Russ went to, there you have Jameis that would become available. If it were the Saints, you got questions with Dak if it's not a tag and trade.
Right.
If it was Dallas.
Yep.
I mean,
Trubisky's a free agent.
If he
He's a free agent. Cam Newton's a free agent.
We have a lot of QBs, guys. I
there's
think
a lot of options, but only a few of them are desirable. And we see these teams that are looking for QBs.
Yeah.
That are just a step away, just that piece away from being a lot better.
Yeah, I think Deshawn ends up probably in Miami or Carolina. I've heard Carolina's really gearing up to try and get him. I could see him going there. I could also see Miami as a possibility. I could see the Jets, but I completely agree with the both of you guys. It's really gonna depend on who goes where, because I think there's going to be a lot of moving parts this NFL offseason, and obviously we got you guys covered on the podcast. If any big moves go down, you can catch us live on Instagram. Link will be down below. Links on YouTube. We might go live on YouTube as well, live on Twitter. Figured out how to do that now. So yeah, just make sure you guys follow us everywhere, because we're going to be covering all these moves with a lot of different people. You know, you guys might see Zach Adam coming back on the podcast to talk about these quarterback moves again. But fellas, I know
we got two quarterbacks in the chat right now, man. These are the two greatest quarterbacks in the SF. Man, Dunk coached the both of us, man. He knows what we can do under center. He knows what we can do.
That's awesome. I appreciate the love, boys. I loved coaching you guys. You guys are great people, great leaders. Adam, I appreciate you for hopping on. It was great to talk to Owen, great to talk to Zach. We'll talk a little bit for a few minutes after the podcast, but I really appreciate you guys for coming on. I know this has kind of been a crazy episode tonight. A lot of movement going on, a lot of people coming in and out, but I appreciate you guys so much for coming on the show. And Adam, all love, buddy. Might have to send you a LeBron jersey, bro.
Oh boy, I'll burn it right away. I'm sorry, dude. Okay. I just want to see the man be himself, have some fun, man. Everything he says, everything he does, it's calculated. I need the real LeBron. I need that young LeBron. I need that LeBron before he went to Miami and started making this era of super teams.
Oh, geez.
I need that LeBron.
All right.
He's too old to do all that. He's
still got, man. You see what he can do. It's incredible. I can't deny it's incredible what he can do on the court still. He's still a great player. I just want to see him prove something to himself.
Facts.
He will this year when they beat the Nets.
They will.
He won't. If they beat the Nets, I don't think anybody's going to beat the Nets. But if they did, it wouldn't be just because of LeBron. He could not do it by himself. Not a chance.
Facts. He can't do it by himself anymore, but he's still great. He's still very talented.
He never could do it by himself. He hasn't proven it in his career.
He
hasn't proven it in his career. Ever since
89.
Miami.
Hey, Adam, we can get into this in another episode, man. There's plenty of Michael LeBron debates to go around.
There's no debate, though. That's the thing. There's no debate.
They're making super teams with three of the best, also probably three out of the top 5 or 6 players in the league right now to stop this guy. They're making
super teams. That's LeBron's fault. It's LeBron's fault.
Yeah, because he's so good.
Team era. No, it's because he started the era of the super team.
They need that many superstars to beat them. That's all I gotta say.
They only play two. They only play 2 at a time, and they still run through everybody.
This LeBron James debate will keep going for hours on end. And you know what? LeBron's great. Jordan's great. all the all-time greats. Huge shout out to all of them. But huge shout out to the greats on this podcast, Zach Brazella, Adam Simmons, aka the Pool Guys. Huge shout out to the boys for coming on the podcast. Keep living life, keep striving for greatness. You guys know the vibes on the channel. Hope y'all have a good day. Huge shout out to Wisconsin Rose for sponsoring the podcast. Links are all down below. Make sure to check them out. Huge shout out to everybody. Keep striving for greatness. Peace out.